Her last words haunt me to this day. My name is James Morrison. I am 90 years old. My wife, Catherine, died 40 years ago in 1985. She was 47 years old. We'd been married for 25 years. And in all those years, through my neglect, through her illness, through the slow death of our marriage, I never once saw her cry. At the time, I thought that meant she was strong, that she understood, that she'd accepted the way things were. I was wrong. Her silence wasn't strength. It was surrender. She wasn't accepting our marriage, she was mourning it. And she did all her grieving in private, while still sleeping in our bed, still cooking my meals, still saying, "I love you," in a voice that got softer and softer until it was almost a whisper. The day before she died, she finally told me the truth. 11 words. 11 words that have echoed in my head every single day for 40 years. She said, "I've been a widow for 10 years, James. Now I'll be free. Let me tell you about the woman who died long before her body stopped breathing, and how I killed her with my absence." I met Catherine in 1958. I was 23, working as a junior accountant at a manufacturing firm in Philadelphia. She was 21, a secretary at the same company. Beautiful not in a flashy way, but in a quiet, luminous way. Brown eyes that seemed to see right through you. We dated for 2 years. She'd write me letters, even though we worked in the same building. Little notes she'd slip into my briefcase. "Thinking of you. Can't wait for Saturday. You make my ordinary days extraordinary." I kept every single one. They're in a box somewhere in this house. I haven't been able to open that box since she died. We got married in 1960. Small ceremony. Her parents, my parents, a few friends. We couldn't afford much, but Catherine made it beautiful. She always had that gift, making something out of nothing. Our apartment was tiny, but she'd put flowers on the table, play records while she cooked. Turn ordinary Wednesday nights into something special. She was affectionate. That's the word. She'd greet me at the door when I came home, kiss my cheek, ask about my day, and actually listen to the answer. She'd fall asleep with her hand on my chest. In the morning, I'd wake up to her making coffee, humming. I was happy. I thought she was happy. We had our daughter, Rachel, in 1962. Our son, David, in 1964. Catherine was a natural mother, patient, creative, present. She'd build forts out of bedsheets, read the same story 15 times if they asked, turn bath time into an adventure. But motherhood exhausted her. 2 kids under 3. I was working long hours, pushing for promotions, trying to move up. We needed the money, I told myself. I was providing. Catherine never complained. Not once. She'd say, "It's okay, honey. I understand. Work is important." I took that as permission to keep disappearing. It's strange how you can live with someone and stop seeing them at the same time. By 1968, I was working 60-hour weeks. I'd made senior accountant. Good salary. Respect. I told myself I was building a future for us, for the kids. But really, I was building a life that didn't require me to be emotionally present. I'd come home at 8, 9 at night. Kids already in bed. Catherine would have saved me dinner. She'd sit with me while I ate, ask about my day. And here's the thing I remember so clearly. She'd ask questions, but she'd ask them softly, almost carefully, like she was afraid of bothering me. "How was the presentation? Did you get lunch today? Are you very tired?" And I'd give her short answers. "Fine. Yeah. Exhausted." She'd nod. Say, "Okay, I'll let you rest." But I didn't rest. I'd watch TV, read the paper, sit in the living room doing nothing while she cleaned up, put the kids' toys away, folded laundry. She never asked me to help. Never said, "I need you." Never cried about being alone all day with 2 small children. I thought that meant she was handling it well. What it actually meant was that she'd already learned that asking wouldn't change anything. There was a moment, I think it was 1970, Rachel was 8, David was 6. Catherine asked if we could have a family dinner together. Not save my dinner for later, but actually sit down together at 6 o'clock. I said, "Honey, I have a lot going on at work right now. Maybe next month when things calm down." She said, "Okay, in that soft voice. But then she did something I'll never forget. She turned away from me and stood at the sink for a long moment, her back to me, her shoulders very still. I said, "Catherine, you okay?" She turned around, and she was smiling. "Of course. I'm fine." No tears. No anger. Just that smile. I felt relieved. See, she understands. She's fine. But I can still see her standing at that sink, her back to me, holding herself very still. Like if she moved, something inside her would break. That was the moment she gave up on me. I just didn't know it yet. In 1975, Catherine started getting sick. Tired all the time. Pale. Dizzy. She tried to hide it. She didn't want to be a burden, but I'd come home and find her lying on the couch while the kids played quietly around her. I told her to see a doctor. She did. They diagnosed her with anemia, severe iron deficiency. The doctor told her to rest, eat better, reduce stress. He gave her iron supplements. She took the pills. She rested when she could, but she didn't get better. I remember one evening, must have been late 1976, I came home, and she was sitting at the kitchen table, just sitting there in the dark. Kids were at her mother's house for the weekend. I turned on the light. "Catherine, what are you doing?" She looked up at me, and I was shocked by how thin she'd gotten, how gray her skin looked. She said, "I'm just very tired, James." "Did you take your iron today?" "Yes." "Did you eat?" "I'm not very hungry." I sat down across from her. "The doctor said you need to eat. You need to take care of yourself." She looked at me for a long moment. Then she said, very quietly, "Yes, I need to take care of myself." There was something in the way she said it, some meaning I couldn't grasp. But she smiled at me, that same smile, and said, "I'll be fine, James. Don't worry about me." That's what she always said. And I didn't worry. I was relieved. Because worrying would have required me to change. To be present. To acknowledge that my wife was wasting away in front of me. Over the next few years, she got thinner. More tired. More quiet. But still no tears. Still no anger. Still that soft voice saying, "I'm fine. Don't worry." David was 16 by then. Rachel was 14. They'd stopped asking me to come to their school events. They knew I wouldn't come. They'd stopped telling me about their days. They knew I wasn't really listening. Catherine had trained them well. "Don't bother your father. He's tired. He works very hard for us." We were all living in the same house, and we were all utterly alone. And the most terrifying part? I was comfortable with it. No demands. No emotions. No complications. Just a quiet, well-run household where no one expected anything from me. In 1982, my boss invited us to a dinner party. Company function. Catherine didn't want to go. She was so weak by then, but I insisted. It was important for my career. She put on a dress. Did her makeup. You could see how much effort it took. She looked like a ghost trying to impersonate a living woman. At the party, we sat with other couples. Everyone was loud, laughing, drinking. The wives were talking about their lives, book clubs, tennis, volunteering. Catherine sat quietly, smiling when appropriate, but not contributing. One of the wives, Linda, I think her name was, noticed. She said, "Catherine, you're so quiet. Tell us about yourself. What do you do for fun?" Catherine looked at her for a moment. Then she said, very simply, "I don't remember." Everyone laughed, thinking it was a joke. But I looked at her face, and she wasn't joking. Linda said, "Oh, come on, everyone does something. Hobbies? Friends? What do you do when James is at work?" Catherine said, "I wait for him to come home." The table went quiet. It was such an odd thing to say. Sad, in a way no one could quite name. My boss's wife, trying to lighten the mood, said, "Well, you must have been doing a lot of waiting. James here is at the office more than he's anywhere else." Everyone laughed again, including me. Catherine didn't laugh. She just smiled and said, "Yes, a lot of waiting." On the drive home, I said, "You were quiet tonight." She said, "Yes. Are you okay?" "I'm fine, James. You embarrassed me a little. That thing you said about waiting for me to come home. It made me sound like a bad husband." She turned to look at me. Really look at me. "Did it?" "Yeah, it did." She turned back to the window, and then she said something that should have woken me up, but didn't. She said, "I'm sorry, James. I'll try not to embarrass you again." No anger, no defense, just apology. And I accepted it. Said, "It's okay. Just be more careful next time." Looking back now, I realized that was the night she finally accepted that I was never going to see her. I was never going to hear what she wasn't saying. I was never going to come back. That was the night she stopped waiting. Catherine collapsed in August of 1984. Just fainted in the kitchen. David found her. He was 20 by then, still living at home. He called the ambulance. By the time I got to the hospital, they'd run tests. The doctor pulled me aside. "Mr. Morrison, your wife is in critical condition. Her anemia has progressed to the point of organ failure. Her heart is struggling. We're doing everything we can, but you need to prepare yourself." I said, "How did it get this bad?" "She's been taking her iron." He looked at me strangely. "Mr. Morrison, iron deficiency this severe is usually caused by chronic blood loss or malabsorption. But in your wife's case, we believe it's related to severe, prolonged depression. She's been starving herself. Not intentionally, she just stopped caring whether she ate or not. The body can only survive that for so long." Depression? She never said she was depressed. The doctor looked at me with something like pity. "Did you ask?" I went into her room. She looked so small in that hospital bed. Tubes and wires everywhere. Her eyes were closed. I sat down next to her. Took her hand. It was cold. I said, "Catherine, can you hear me?" Her eyes opened slowly. She looked at me. I said, "You're going to be okay. The doctors are taking care of you. You just need to rest and get strong." She didn't respond for a long moment. Then she said, in a voice barely above a whisper, "James, can I tell you something?" "Of course. Anything. I need you to know that I loved you. Very much. For a very long time. I love you too, Catherine. You're going to be fine." She shook her head slightly. "James, I'm not going to be fine. And I need to tell you this before I go. Don't talk like that. Please. Let me say this." I stopped talking. Held her hand tighter. She took a breath. It seemed to cost her everything. She said, "I've been a widow for 10 years, James. Now I'll be free." I didn't understand. "What? Catherine, what does that mean? You left me 10 years ago. You didn't move out. You didn't file for divorce. But you left me. And I've been living as a widow, going through the motions, keeping the house, raising our children alone, sleeping next to a ghost. Catherine, I've been here. I've been working to provide for. You've been gone, James. And I mourned you. I mourned the husband I used to have, the marriage I thought we'd have, the life I imagined. I cried for months. But you didn't notice because you were never around to see it. And then one day, I stopped crying. And you thought that meant I was fine. But it meant I'd finished grieving. I'd accepted you were gone. And I was just empty. Tears were running down her face now. First tears I'd ever seen. The worst part is that you were relieved when I stopped asking for your time. When I stopped expecting anything. When I became quiet and easy and undemanding. You thought I'd become a better wife. But I'd just become a dead one. I was already gone, James. My body just took longer to catch up. I was crying too, but she wasn't done. I want you to understand something. I didn't die because of anemia. I died because I spent 15 years slowly disappearing in a marriage where my husband never noticed I was fading. And the saddest part, the part that breaks my heart even now, is that you thought I was fine because I didn't cry. But I didn't cry because I'd already used up all my tears. There was nothing left. No anger. No hope. No love. Just nothing. Catherine, please, I'm sorry. I know you're sorry, James. But sorry doesn't give me back the years I spent being invisible. Sorry doesn't make me want to fight for my life. I'm so tired. And for the first time in 10 years, I'm going to stop trying to be what you need and just rest." She closed her eyes. I said, "Catherine, please. I'll change. I'll be different. Just stay." She opened her eyes one more time. "You should have changed when I was still alive, James. It's too late to love a ghost." She died the next morning. I was holding her hand. She never opened her eyes again. That was 40 years ago. I'm 90 years old now. David is 63. Rachel is 61. They both got married, had children. I see them on holidays. But we don't have a relationship. Not really. Because I wasn't a father to them either. I was an absence that paid for their food and clothes. I never remarried. People asked, over the years, "You're still young, James. You should find someone." But how could I? How could I ask another woman to love me when I killed the first one with my neglect? I think about Catherine every day. Her face, her voice, the way she'd greet me at the door in those early years, full of light and hope. And I think about the way that light dimmed, year by year, month by month, until she was just a shadow moving through our house, trying not to disturb me. I think about all the moments I could have chosen differently, the family dinners I could have prioritized, the times I could have asked, "Are you okay?" and actually waited for the real answer. The nights I could have turned off the TV and talked to her. Really talked. The doctor's appointments I could have gone to with her. The mornings I could have woken up early just to have coffee together before the day started. All the small, ordinary moments that make up a marriage. I traded all of them for what? A career that didn't matter? A promotion that didn't fulfill me? The comfort of not having to be emotionally present? I live alone now in a house that's too big. I eat dinner at the same table where Catherine used to sit across from me, asking her careful, quiet questions that I answered with indifference. Sometimes, late at night, I think I can hear her moving through the rooms. But it's just the house settling. The ghosts are all in my head. I keep thinking about what she said. "You should have changed when I was still alive." She's right. Change after the fact is just cosplay. Remorse without the opportunity for repair is just self-indulgent suffering. But here's what haunts me most. I remember feeling relieved when she stopped crying, stopped asking, stopped needing. I was relieved that my wife was dying inside because it made my life easier. That's the kind of monster I was. Not a dramatic villain. Just a man who chose comfort over connection every single day. People asked, over the years, "You're still young, James. You should find someone." But how could I? How could I ask another woman to love me when I killed the first one with my neglect? I think about Catherine every day. Her face, her voice, the way she'd greet me at the door in those early years, full of light and hope. And I think about the way that light dimmed, year by year, month by month, until she was just a shadow moving through our house, trying not to disturb me. I think about all the moments I could have chosen differently, the family dinners I could have prioritized, the times I could have asked, "Are you okay?" and actually waited for the real answer, the nights I could have turned off the TV and talked to her. Really talked. The doctor's appointments I could have gone to with her. The mornings I could have woken up early just to have coffee together before the day started. All the small, ordinary moments that make up a marriage. I traded all of them for what? A career that didn't matter? A promotion that didn't fulfill me? The comfort of not having to be emotionally present? I live alone now in a house that's too big. I eat dinner at the same table where Catherine used to sit across from me, asking her careful, quiet questions that I answered with indifference. Sometimes, late at night, I think I can hear her moving through the rooms. But it's just the house settling. The ghosts are all in my head. I keep thinking about what she said. "You should have changed when I was still alive." She's right. Change after the fact is just cosplay. Remorse without the opportunity for repair is just self-indulgent suffering. But here's what haunts me most. I remember feeling relieved when she stopped crying, stopped asking, stopped needing. I was relieved that my wife was dying inside because it made my life easier. That's the kind of monster I was. Not a dramatic villain. Just a man who chose comfort over connection every single day. Until there was nothing left to connect to. I'm 90 years old. Catherine has been dead for 40 years. And I'm finally ready to tell you what I learned too late. First, silence is not peace. It's surrender. When someone stops fighting with you, stops crying, stops asking for your attention, that's not maturity. That's not acceptance. That's the sound of someone giving up on you. If your partner is calm when they should be angry, quiet when they should be demanding, peaceful when they should be in pain, pay attention. That's not serenity. That's someone who's already left the building while their body still occupies the space. Second, the absence of conflict doesn't mean presence of connection. I thought Catherine and I had a peaceful marriage because we didn't fight. But we didn't fight because she'd stopped believing fighting would change anything. A healthy relationship has friction, has tension, has moments of anger and tears and difficult conversations. Because those things mean both people are still invested, still care enough to fight. When the conflict ends, it doesn't mean you've won. It means you've lost. Third, "I'm fine" is the loneliest phrase in the English language. Catherine said, "I'm fine" hundreds of times. Thousands. And I believed her every single time because I wanted to believe her. But "I'm fine" doesn't mean I'm okay. It means I've stopped expecting you to care whether I'm okay or not. If someone you love keeps saying, "I'm fine," while their light is dimming, while their body is failing, while their spirit is breaking, they're not fine. They're drowning. And they're too tired to keep reaching for a rescue that never comes. Fourth, emotional absence is not neutral. It's violent. I thought I was a decent husband because I didn't hit Catherine. I didn't cheat on her. I didn't yell. I provided for the family. But emotional abandonment is its own form of violence. Slower, quieter, but just as deadly. You can kill someone with indifference, with neglect, with the thousands of small moments where you choose your comfort over their need. It just takes longer, and they die from the inside out. Fifth, your partner is not responsible for managing your emotional absence. Catherine became softer, quieter, more careful around me. She learned to ask for nothing, expect nothing, need nothing. I thought that was her becoming more mature, more understanding. But it was her learning to survive in a marriage with someone who wasn't really there. She adapted to my absence by erasing herself, and I benefited from her erasure. That's the truth I have to live with. Sixth, the body keeps the score. Catherine's anemia wasn't just a medical condition. It was her body's way of expressing what her voice couldn't. She was bleeding out not physically, but emotionally. And eventually, her body manifested what her spirit had been experiencing for years. When someone is wasting away in front of you, it's not always about disease. Sometimes it's about despair. Seventh, you can't love a ghost. Catherine said that to me in the hospital. It's too late to love a ghost. She was right. Once someone has finished grieving your relationship while still living in it, there's no resurrection. No amount of remorse brings back what's been lost. If you're going to love someone, love them while they're still alive inside, while they still have hope, while they still have tears to cry. Eighth, and most important, when emotion disappears, the relationship has already ended. This is what I need you to understand. Catherine and I weren't married for 25 years. We were married for maybe 10. The last 15 years, we were just two people living in the same space, going through the motions, pretending. She knew it. I refused to see it. And by the time I finally saw it, she was already dead. She'd been dead for years. Her body just finally caught up to her spirit. I want you to do something for me right now. If you're married or in a relationship, I want you to think about your partner. When was the last time they asked you for something? Your time, your attention, your help. When was the last time they cried in front of you? Got angry at you? Fought with you? When was the last time they expected anything from you? If the answer is, "I can't remember," you need to understand something. They haven't stopped needing you. They've stopped believing you'll show up. And that silence, that terrible, peaceful silence, is not a gift. It's a goodbye. I want you to go home today and ask your partner, "Are you okay? Really okay?" And then this is the important part. One, want you to wait for the real answer. Not the automatic, "I'm fine." The real answer underneath. The one they've learned not to say because saying it doesn't change anything. And if they tell you they're tired or lonely or invisible, or that they've been disappointed for so long they don't even remember what hope feels like, don't get defensive. Don't make excuses. Don't promise to change someday. Just say, "I'm sorry. I see you now. Tell me what you need." And then do it. Today. Not tomorrow. Not when work calms down. Not after the kids grow up. Today. Because Catherine was right. You can't love a ghost. And once someone becomes a ghost in their own life, You can't bring them back. I'm 90 years old. I killed my wife with my absence and called it marriage. Don't be like me. My name is James Morrison, and this is The Afterthought. If this story haunts you, share it. Share it with someone who's disappearing in their relationship. Share it with someone who's become too comfortable with silence. Share it with someone who feels alone. And please, please don't wait until you're sitting in a hospital room, holding a hand that's already let go, before you finally decide to pay attention. Catherine's last words were, "It's too late to love a ghost." Don't let that be true for you.